Republican presidential candidate, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, thank you for being with us today. We obviously have a lot of issues we'd love to talk to you about, but obviously, I don't know if you heard any of our last conversation with Jonathan Greenblatt and Bari Weiss. We're going to, today, we're going to just talk about Israel, Iran, issues involved with that. We'd love for you to come back and talk about some other issues later, but I'm sure you agree with us that right now that's the pressing issue. And I want to ask you, first of all, if you heard any of what Bari Weiss said or Jonathan Greenblatt said. I know you've visited Israel many times. Give us your thoughts about the people of Israel right now and what the United States needs to do to support them.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, I'm actually down in Bal Harbour. We just did an event at the Shoal here, and it's raw for our community down in South Florida. We have the second biggest Israeli-American community in the country. We have a large Jewish population that's really expanded a lot in the last few years, particularly with the Orthodox Jews. So everybody knows somebody who's been over there. People know people that are missing, and unfortunately, people know people that have been killed. This is perhaps Israel's darkest hour. This is a country that had to fight for its inception in the late 1940s. The Arab armies wanted to extinguish it in the Crib. Then they were going to get invaded in '67, and they preempted that in the Six-Day War. Then they did get invaded with the Yom Kippur War, and they were able to win that. And then they faced intifada after intifada. And then the level of barbarity, it's hard to comprehend. The images and the videos are absolutely disgusting. And I just think it's important as Americans that we all come together. Israel has a right to defend itself, and that means do that to the hilt. You have to uproot the terrorist infrastructure, these networks, and Hamas needs to be no more. I fear what happens in these situations is, yeah, people say Israel can respond. Then a week later, then 2 weeks later, then people start to blame Israel. There's no moral equivalence between a Hamas terrorist and an Israeli civilian, and they have every right to see this through to the hilt.
So, Governor, let me ask you about a mistake that not only we make in the United States, but Israel has made, unfortunately, in this case, and that is with Israel, the belief that somehow Hamas could be managed through the years. You've been to the Middle East many times. You've visited Israel many times, and there was somehow that mistaken belief, just like the mistaken belief from our government through the years that somehow a relationship with Iran could be managed. I'd like you to begin with talking about the security failures in Israel, if you have any insights on how that happened. And then I'd like to know if you are president of the United States, or if you were president right now, would the DeSantis administration support an Israeli military strike either on Iranian military targets or Iran's oil infrastructure, which, of course, funds terrorism across the globe?
Well, on the former, I think it's too soon to tell. I don't have any inside information, but clearly this was an orchestrated attack. Israel prepares for things like this, and Hamas was able to have, unfortunately, a great deal of success. I think in the past, there may have been some people in Israel thought Hamas could be managed, but I also think that there was an impulse pushing against them taking care of Hamas once and for all, because they would always come under international commendation. People would start attacking Israel. I mean, how many resolutions has the United Nations done attacking Israel over the years? So I think that there was that practical political consideration that maybe caused some Israeli leaders to hold back. In terms of Iran, look, this is personal for me in the sense of I served in Iraq back in 2007, 2008. We were in places like Fallujah and Ramadi, mostly Sunni Arab al-Qaeda fighters at the time. But most of the casualties U.S. troops were suffering were at the hands of Iranian-backed Shia militias. They killed hundreds of our troops in Iraq, probably over 1,000. Of course, they were responsible through Hezbollah for killing our Marines back in 1983 in the Beirut barracks bombing. So Iran has a lot of American blood on its hands. Look, I think that Israel should be focused on uprooting Hamas to make this a larger role. I think does have some risks, but I would say the United States should turn every screw so that Iran is not getting money flowing into its coffers, particularly with their oil control. I think Biden's administration thought that there could be a rapprochement here. They eased off on some of the sanctions. There's been a lot of discussion on the $6 billion. I think that was a mistake, but they've been getting a lot of money leading up to this. The Iranian regime, when they're funding terrorism, it's not necessarily a practical consideration. This is their religious and ideological worldview. This is why they exist as a government, and you're just not going to be able to have a peaceful situation with a government like that. So turn the screws on them financially, dry up their ability to fund terrorism. That's something we should all be able to agree on.